Hi there, welcome to the second episode of my 10-minute moan of today. The topic of this 10-minute moan is actually something a bit of good news. It's about the teacher from Southport getting out of hospital, thankfully, after being touch and go for quite a long time. Now, the story's been covered by a lot of outlets. I'm using the Mail Online for reference for this one, and their headline is Southport stabbing hero dance teacher who shielded children during knife attack at Taylor Swift dance party is released from hospital after surgery. The hero dance teacher who risked her own life to protect children during a knife attack in Southport has been released from hospital after having to be readmitted. Leanne Lucas, 35, was critically injured after she leapt in to try and shield innocent youngsters when a knifeman went on a rampage in July 29, killing 3 schoolgirls. Bebe King, 6, Elsie Dot Stancombe, 7, and Alice Dasilva Aguiar, 9, were named as the tragic victims of the frenzied attack the following day. Leanne, who was one of the organisers of the Taylor Swift-themed holiday class, underwent life-saving surgery in the hours after the rampage. The 35-year-old was quickly hailed a hero after reports she used her body as a shield to protect a number of children. Tricia and Esther, who run a GoFundMe on behalf of Leanne's family, said she had been discharged from hospital on August the 6th. However, just 10 days later, they said the teacher had been readmitted as she was having breathing difficulties. Esther took to social media this week to announce Leanne was back at home again and surrounded by loved ones as she continued on her road to recovery. She said her pal had undergone surgery and that everyone had been overwhelmed by the kindness pouring in. Esther wrote on the Southport Community Facebook page, Leanne has been discharged following her further surgery and is now recovering with family and friends around her. Please continue to support Leanne by sharing her GoFundMe page. I'll put a link to that in the description. And donating where possible. We have had so many lovely messages wishing her well, so many gifts and handmade crafts. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone for showing such kindness during this impossible, difficult time. It's understood Leanne had been readmitted to undergo another surgery to drain her lung. Tricia and Esther wrote on the fundraising page on August the 15th. Unfortunately, this week Leanne is readmitted to hospital due to struggling with her breathing. She's waiting for an operation for another drain in her lung due to infection. Leanne had barely begun her road to recovery. Please keep her in your thoughts and continue supporting her as you have been by sharing the page and donating anything you can. Thank you all from the Lucas family. The teacher was said to have planned the 2-hour dance and yoga session to line up with school holidays and taught the class alongside Heidi Barlow. Heidi was also injured in the attack, but not as serious as Leanne reports suggest. One of Leanne's loved ones said she had been knifed in the back, arms and neck as she attempted to save the children who had been attending the class. All 3 of the young girls tragically killed in the rampage have now been farewelled at emotional services. Just days ago, 7-year-old Elsie's funeral was held with her parents following her tiny coffin and a horse-drawn carriage as hundreds of sobbing mourners gathered to say their final farewell. Grieving locals, emergency services and members of the youngsters' cheerleading troupe lined the sides of the road on Friday as her carriage was led by horses adorned with rainbows. Behind the procession, lines of heartbroken friends trooped in procession, wearing bright colours that matched the pink ribbons tied to the lampposts along the route. Elsie's family had asked those attending not to wear black. The tiny coffin, dressed in a light multicoloured shroud, was carried into St John's Church in Birkdale, near Southport, the church where she was baptised, on the shoulders of 4 men. On Sunday, the 11th of August, hundreds lined the streets of Southport to remember 9-year-old Alice, who was also killed in the rampage. Devastated mourners gathered at St Patrick's Church for the funeral of Alice, described as a princess by her heartbroken family. The little girl's parents, Sergio and Alexandra, were joined by friends and relatives, as well as Serena Kennedy, Chief Constable of Merseyside Police, and uniformed officers from police, ambulance and fire service. The grieving crowd could be seen carrying flowers and pink balloons and were dressed in light colours. A white coffin decorated with pink roses was carried into the church for the funeral. Pink ribbons and balloons were tied to lampposts and garden walls. A third victim, Bebe, was farewelled on August the 17th, with her loved ones coming together for the youngster's celebration of life service. The 6-year-old service was private. Axel Raducu Bana, 18, has been charged with 3 counts of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder. What a sad story, but lovely tributes there about the 2 out of 3 kids, with the 3rd kid having a very private service, and some good news that a brave teacher, after some amazing acts of bravery, which no doubt saved the lives or injury of many more kids, it's fantastic to hear that she is recovering, because she was on the critical list for such a long time. And still we wait on a response from the government as to how they can assure these things don't happen again and make those who are feeling vulnerable and at risk to the continued amount of knife attacks that we see in our streets, what can be done. And I'll reiterate again something that I find unbelievable, that a law passed in January of this year that comes into effect after a 29-day amnesty window, where people can hand back and be compensated for handing back large knives, zombie knives and machetes, is actually not getting much coverage at all. And I have no idea why. Keir Starmer has had plenty of times to discuss this with the population of the United Kingdom, as close to these murders as the next day when he addressed the nation, but spent more time talking about protests and riots than he did about these 3 girls that lost their lives and the many others injured. He also had another chance yesterday when he had a press conference in the lawn of 10 Downing Street, but at that he seemed more intent in telling us about the fears of the new budget, which will be horrific. He's already priming us for that. And to tell us about people wearing swastika tattoos and doing Nazi hand salutes while protesting, with no mention whatsoever to these deaths, the many attacks by knives, and what the government are actually able to do about it. And made no comment about the new legislation in the 29-day amnesty, which I find absolutely bizarre. That the people that run our country, the media that advises, and the police that manage the law are not screaming this from the rooftops. The only coverage I've seen is small social media posts by local police constabularies. And it blows my mind, absolutely blows my mind, why the government, the media, and certain police constabularies are absolutely silent about what's going on. There must be a very good reason why your government would not tell you about a new law. And I can't for the life of me think it's just because it would have been the Tories that brought it out in some way that might appear to be a Labour government praising a Tory government. I doubt that because yesterday in his press conference on the lawns of 10 Downing Street, Keir Starmer did praise the Tory government for something. I can't remember what it was, but it did take me by surprise. So that's not the reason for them being silent about this new law. I'd be shocked and stunned if they didn't know about it. So I cannot emphasise enough why I'll keep asking, why not? Why are they not shouting this from the rooftops? There'll be people who are scared because of the amount of knife crime that we've had this summer. And it would give them even a glimpse of hope that the government were doing something to make the streets safer. Let alone maybe try and get some knives handed in. That would be quite nice, taken off the streets, if the government shouted about this amnesty and the new law that takes into effect after it, which bizarrely, this is 2024, and we are only now having a law come into practice that bans zombie knives, machetes, and knives with blades over 8 inches long. Beggars belief, doesn't it? But that's where we're at, and the government still don't want to tell people about it. Shame on you. If you enjoyed this video and the good news that it's given you about the brave teacher, Leanne Lucas, give us a thumbs up, please. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell. But most important of all, unless you're any of these people that think carrying big knives about streets of Britain is a good idea, see everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.